Hello, welcome to episode 2 of Knitting Needles and Stems. I'm Carrie. It's been about a little over a month since the first episode dropped, and I said it was going to be every probably 2 weeks or a month. On the day when I was scheduled to record, we actually made an emergency trip to Kentucky. My grandmother ended up passing away, and we were there, were able to see her before that, and celebrated her life. Had Thanksgiving in Kentucky with our family, which we had planned. We had planned to go down there at Thanksgiving, but we just ended up going a little bit earlier because of other life situations. So here we are. Today is December 7th, 2024, and I'm ready to jump right in with our segments for this episode. First, we have works in progress. My first work in progress that I've been working on since the last time we recorded is my Headland by Elizabeth Doherty. For this one, I'm using the Bumblebee Acres Farm Squishy Sock from the Advent 2023. I haven't done a whole lot since last time, but I did pick up the neck stitches, and I'm working on the neckband. It's just a short neckband for this. You can see it has this nice edging that starts just before the neckband, and it'll be a little short neckband that will match the stitches that are actually on the hem at the bottom before binding off. And then I'll do the sleeves, and hopefully I'll have this one done by Christmas because I do want to wear it to the Christmas festivities. We usually go to my mother-in-law's house on Christmas Day and celebrate over there. We just kind of have snacks. We don't really have a meal. We have snacks and talk with each other and get caught up for, what's been going on through the year, and that's always really nice. So that is Headland by Elizabeth Doherty using Bumblebee Acres Farm Squishy Sock in the Advent 2023 colorway. The next thing, with the emergency trip that we took to Kentucky, I decided that it was best not to try to travel with needles, although everybody told me that you can travel with needles. I was kind of in my own head and did not want to take anything that looked like it might be a threat on the plane. Say hi to Dexter. Hi, say hi, Dexter. Dexter wants to be part of the podcast today. Anyway, so I cast on some socks for my husband using Patons Kroy socks FX in the Midnight colorway. So this is the yarn. Patons Kroy FX, and I was able to finish. Well, I finished a whole sock, and then I realized with the needles that I had that it was going to be way too small for my husband. I had taken a needle one size smaller than what I normally use for socks, thinking, oh, it'll be fine because this is a thicker yarn, but it wasn't. So I finished one sock twice. For this sock, I just used a simple ribbing. It was like 4 by 2 or something like that all the way around. I used the Fish Lips Kiss heel, which I really like. That's by Sox Therapist, Patty Joy White. It's a really nice heel, and it fits really well for me and my husband. So this is the socks for my husband using Patons Kroy FX in the midnight colors with the Fish Lips Kiss heel. The next thing that I cast on while we were still there, because I had bought some yarn to make my daughter some socks at Shepherd's Harvest back in May, I cast on a pair for her because her feet are smaller, and if I can't get a whole pair out of 100 grams using the smaller needle size, then there would be some kind of problem. So these are socks for my daughter Raegan, she's my youngest, using T&H Fiberwork Glitz sock in the Eowyn colorway, EOWYN. This one will also have a Fish Lips Kiss heel, but you can't really see in this yarn, but there is sparkle in there, and the camera doesn't really pick up sparkle like I think it should, but you know how cameras are with sparkle. So this is the first one of the two. I just have it in a ball here, and this is just a regular knit sock, no patterning at all, just knit round and round. I cast on, I increased to 60 stitches, I use the yarn over increase where you knit through the back loop on the next round around to do the increases for the toe. And Judy's Magic Cast On I use for the toes on all of my socks. I make most of my socks toe up, and that's the cast on that I like to use. So this is Raegan sock using T&H Fiberworks Glitz sock in the Eowyn colorway, and it will have a fish lips kiss heel as well. Another thing that I worked on while I was in Kentucky, because I took a crochet hook and a few balls of cotton yarn, and then I also picked up some cotton yarn at the local superstore. I found 5 easy washcloth patterns by Sweet Bee Crochet, and I had taken a skein of the navy Knit Picks Dishie, and this is the pattern that got. This is just a half double crochet all the way around pattern. It makes it for a nice textured washcloth. This used almost the whole skein of the Dishie, and that's really great because it's a good size for a washcloth. It'll be great for washing our dishes and help get them clean. And then the yarn that I bought was actually Peaches and Cream Stripey in green stripes and denim. I bought the 2 different yarns and used 2 different of the stitch patterns from the 5 Easy Washcloth pattern by Sweet Bee Crochet for these 2. I'm not sure which one had which stitch pattern. One of them, no, I'm not even going to try to guess. So
Take a couple bites of food.
That is the 5 Easy Washcloths pattern by Sweet Bee Crochet, and I use Knit Picks Dishie worsted in navy and Peaches and Cream Stripey in denim and green stripes. And then for my daughter's actually working on one with another skein of yarn that I have, which is a green from Knit Picks Dishie. But with the leftovers from these, for the 5th one, I'm waiting for her to finish that washcloth so that I can make the 5th one, and I'm just using the leftovers from each one. This is the Peaches and Cream Stripey and denim, the navy Knit Picks Dishie, and then the Peaches and Cream Stripey and the greens. So I'm waiting for that other green to put up here at the top, and I will be able to finish this one. Another whip that I started is the 2024 Advent sock by Woolens and Nosh. I'm waiting on another pair of needles, so I've just been working on one sock on this one. On this one, you do 1 stripe a day for the 24 days of the Advent. She sends a solid color, accent color. This is my solid. It's a nice dark charcoal. And then she has, so that the colors aren't spoiled for the next day, she has a thin stripe of the contrast color in between each of the stripes. So today's the 7th, so I have 7 stripes. Day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, and day 7. I can't wait to see all the other colors that she comes up with and to get my other set of needles so I can cast those on, get those caught up to where this one is, and have these done at the same time right before Christmas. Again, that's Woolens and Nosh 2024 Advent. I'm doing the same sock pattern that I'm using for Raegan's sock pattern, just I increased to 60 stitches, and I'm just knitting and knitting and knitting, and then I will do a fish lips kiss heel on these 2 when it comes time to do the heel. And now, 2 finished objects. I finished my November Mother Bear. The Mother Bear is a pattern that is made to be sent to kids in Africa whose lives are touched by HIV and AIDS. Every month, there's a prompt in the Mother Bear group on Ravelry with a theme, and this month's theme was thankful. So I made Dankbar. Dankbar in German means thankful. Dankbar is a little baby girl bear because I'm thankful for my baby girls. In the hood, you can take the hood off, show off her little ears, or you can put the hood on and, you know, she's ready to go and be loved by a kid in Africa. So this is the Mother Bear pattern. You can buy the Mother Bear pattern by Ravelry, but you have to, it links you to the Mother Bear page, and it's an actual paper pattern that'll be sent to you. It's not a digital pattern, but definitely worth the wait. Second, I finished my Cat's All Folks washcloth that I had started last time I record. That's Cat's All Folks by Susan Yu. I used Knit Picks Comfy and just random colors that I had. I did run out of colors a couple times. Here I had to switch to the black or the purple and the yellow from the purple. I had to switch here, and then up here I had to switch to black. But it's a washcloth. I'm going to use it when I take a shower. I'm not giving it away as a gift. It's just a washcloth with cats on it. It is a great pattern. It's double knit, so the front is the opposite of the back. And it's a great pattern if you know someone who loves cats and want to practice double knitting. This would be a great one to learn with. That is Cat's All Folks by Susan Yu. And I also finished my Japanese sampler blanket by Toni Lorenz. I don't have it here because I gifted it to my mother for Christmas while we were down in Kentucky. But I will have a picture right here in the corner of the finished blanket. This one, she released the clues. It was a mystery knit along, and she released one clue a month for one block of the blanket. And I chose to do mine in 4 different colors. I used Knit Picks Heatherly in Atmosphere, Bedtime, Gravity, and Otter. And I really love how this blanket turned out. My mom was really happy with it. She's going to put it on her chair in the living room to have whenever she feels chilled. Toni's patterns are always great. And they have a knit along. She does a monthly mystery knit along, yearly mystery knit along every year. And this year was a blanket. Last year was a shawl wrap, and I'm not sure what other years she's done, but I will be sure to let you know what she's going to do next year. I also finished my Flax by TinCanKnits using Knitologie Sheen in the Titmouse colorway. I'm wearing it today. You can see the fit is absolutely perfect. I love how this sweater turned out. I made it the perfect length for me. I love how the yarn patterned on it. I have the garter stitch ridge going down my arm. The sleeves aren't too tight, aren't too loose. Perfect length. This is a fantastic pattern for variegated yarns or solid yarns, or if you're learning to make a sweater and you've never done it before. They have one in a worsted weight version, so if you're not sure about making a sweater using fingering weight yarn because it'll take forever, and it does kind of take forever, this is the perfect pattern for that. One more FO was my Feldmark by Martina Behm. This one was a gift for a swap that I was in. I do usually one swap a year with the Yarniacs podcast group, and this one was a gift, so I was not able to show it while I was working on it. Now my giftee has it, and I'm going to show you pictures right here. Feldmark by Martina Behm is a scarf that uses every bit of the yarn that you have. I made mine using handspun BFL that I had in my stash, and I really love how this one turned out. It's a perfect size for my swappy who lives in Tennessee. Wrap around her neck a couple times without getting too hot. The weather in Tennessee doesn't get quite as cold as it does here in northern Wisconsin, so I think that she'll really love it. She likes rustic wool, and BFL is a great one to work with. Now let's talk about more out than in. My goal for the last several years has been to send more yarn out of my stash than I bring into my stash. I have admittedly failed at this several years in a row, but that's okay because I love the yarns that I'm bringing in. I had 3 yarn purchases this month, and for the month of November. The first one was 3 more skeins of Knit Picks Brava worsted in the cream colorway for my Precious Moments blanket. Those have all been crocheted up into the blanket and are now out of my stash. So they went out as fast as they came in. That was 654 yards of worsted weight. The other 2 are yarns that I bought while we were in Kentucky. I actually found a local yarn store, local-ish yarn store to where I used to live. And there were yarns that were dyed by the owner of the yarn store, and then yarns that were dyed in another town that's a lot closer than the yarn store actually was to the town that I grew up in. First is the Creative Twist hand dyed in the Bourbon Scale colorway. This is all the different colors that bourbon can be upon aging. So it starts with the lighter, and then of course the more it ages, the more darker it gets. I couldn't resist this because I love yarn and I love bourbon. So it was a win-win. So again, this is the Creative Twist was the name of the store. It says Happy Habit hand dyed yarn by Laura. So that's the owner of the store. Is the one that dyed the yarn for an event that was happening in Mount Sterling, Kentucky. And the second one that I bought is Hingston Handmade Matchy Matchy Sturdy Sock in the colorway Pumpkin Pies and Flannel Nights. This is 446 yards of fingering weight yarn. But look at those colors, and it's self-striping. So I'm kind of a sucker for stripes when it comes to yarn. I couldn't believe that these were hand dyed so close to where I grew up, because back when I left there 10 years ago, I didn't know of anybody around that did anything with yarn. So this is really exciting and something new for me to go and check out every time that I go to visit. So again, that's Hingston Handmade, and that's actually dyed in Carlisle, Kentucky. So, and there is a website, hingstonhandmade.com, if you want to check them out. And I had 2 completed projects and 1 yarn that I sent out for a prize for the gift along, the indie gift along that's going on right now. I completed my Japanese sampler blanket, which was 1,403 yards of yarn, and I completed my Flax sock, which is 1,388 yards of yarn. It's kind of funny to me that the blanket and the sweater had about the same amount of yarn. But the prize yarn that I'm sending out for the indie gift along is 670 yards. So my total in with the 3 yarn purchases, even though 1 was already sent out, it has not been counted as sent out yet because that project is not completely done. My yarn in was 1,537 yards, and my yarn out is 3,555 yards. So I had more out than in for the month of November, but my yearly totals still show more brought in at 14,586 yards brought in and only 12,085 yards sent out. I am going to be finishing 1 big project and hopefully my other sweater by the end of this month. So my yearly totals should reflect that there's more out than in for the year. I haven't worked on any of my patterns this year, or so far this month, so I'm going to go on to gardening. And we're going to talk about vacationing with houseplants and what not to do. Like, don't do what I did. So when you're planning to go on your vacation, you need to figure out how you're going to keep your plants watered. My husband was actually home for the first week, so I was able to handle the first week by texting him and letting him know which ones to plant or which ones to water, and he watered them for me. But the second week, not so much. It's when he came down to meet us, and we were gone then for 9 days without anything or anybody taking care of the plants. My Eureka Lemon let's start with this one. I came home and she's all withered, all dry, which is normal actually for a lemon plant to go dormant in the winter. So I'll pick off these dead leaves, sit her on her heating pad under her heat lamp, or her heat lamp, and she should, you know, come back, especially by spring. Probably before spring she'll start having some more buds on her and leaves. So this is my Eureka lemon that I actually got from Frank's Fruit Trees. He had a booth at one of our festivals here in Hayward and assured me that you can grow lemons in northern Wisconsin. I've had several blooms on the tree within the last year since I bought it, but I have not had any actual lemons. I'm hopeful that when it gets bigger, maybe it'll grow some actual lemons for me. So that's my Eureka lemon. And the other one was my canna lily that I got from one of my kids' old teachers. Had her come over and help her with some yard work. Here's this mammoth. And you can see a lot of the leaves turned brown. This could actually be normal for a lily. I'm not 100% sure. I know that they're perennials and a lot of times they'll come back. Usually they die off and are gone for the winter and then come back. So, but you can see it's all brown leaves. It does look like I have a little new growth in here. I'm not sure if it's actually a new growth or if it's just going to die off for the winter and then come back. But we did have beautiful blooms on this back in September when we came back from South Dakota. We came home to beautiful red blooms on here. So I'm hoping that it will come back. I think when I go on vacation again, if I'm going to be gone for 9 days with nobody here to water the plants while I'm gone, I'll buy one of those bulb waterers to stick down in a couple of them just to make sure. My succulents are fine. Succulents don't need the water all the time, but the lemon tree and the new peace lily and the canna lily, I think I will make sure that I have some of those waterers to use for those. So that's all that I have for this episode. I hope you guys enjoy your holidays that are coming up. I'm hoping to record another video before Christmas, but with the activities and things that are going on before then, I'm not sure if I'll get it done or not. So if I don't see you before then, have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and I'll see you next time.